Welcome back, everyone,
Oh my god.
to another episode of LUNACID. LUNACID.
Time has, gone by so fast. Wilson aged, 80 years.
I'm not gonna sound like that when I'm fucking 80.
I hope you do.
I hope I do too. That would be amazing.
Welcome to Lunacity.
I actually, the first character that I played, I told you it was a thief, and that must have, some kind of higher item discovery stat.
Okay.
Because I was fighting these snails, and, the second fucking snail that I ever killed dropped a magic ring that let me cast a spell called Summon Snail.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
And since I was, trying out that new voice, I was like,
Ah,
A summon snail?
the spell to summon a snail, yes. It is a powerful one indeed, a mighty incantation.
and I was just running around this little world, summoning as one snail at a time, going,
I cast summon snail, and it would just
slug around after enemies and attack them bit by bit, and be like,
yes, attack them, my creature.
Now I'm just imagining Gandalf doing that on the bridge of Khazad-dûm. Instead of, you shall not pass, summon snail!
I cast my most powerful spell.
And then a little slug pops out of his...
then
He's like,
it just
Balrog's like,
poofs
what the fuck?
Drop,
onto the bridge.
just splats.
Or it suction cups itself along the underside of the bridge. It's like, where are you
How
going?
awesome would it be if he actually did have a spell that was yeah, it summons a snail, but if the snail is able to catch up with somebody, it fucking deals a shit ton of damage or something.
Yeah, it explodes on them. It's like a little mine.
Everyone always underestimates the snail.
Well,
We're fighting a shulker.
we are. While Wilson is
cursed me.
playing this beautiful game, I'm going to I want to pick Broadshow's brain. This is a segment where
Yeah.
I'm calling it now Picking Broadshow's Brain.
Okay. Very creative.
The trailer, the new official trailer for Thor Love and Thunder came out.
Yeah. Yep. Yesterday.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on that trailer, and we'll get into a little discussion about it a little bit.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, it was kind of better than the other trailers that I've seen for the movie.
There's only been one other trailer for the movie.
Yeah, it didn't really show a whole lot, and this one kind of gave me a better idea of it.
So one of the I liked just introed by Korg talking. Korg's grown on me. Korg was a character I wasn't initially fond of, but now he makes me giggle. I'm watching it at the same time too, trying to catch everything.
Sure.
But I love the new Thor armor too, the blue and gold. That shit's tight. With the full
The full thing
over his eyes and
on
shit.
his helmet. Yeah.
Yeah, Jane looks sweet. Natalie Portman really got jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's
she looks
Thor.
great.
And then we finally get to see Zeus. Get to see Russ Crowe's Zeus.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was
That
pretty
was
cool.
And then we got old Chrissy Bale coming in as Gore the God Butcher,
Right.
which he looks better than what it was initially seen. At first he just looked like a fucking he was the leaked photo or whatever of him was it was just him painted white and it just looked like he was in a bed feet, which I mean it's still kind of that, but he's got more stuff going on his face.
Yeah, from what I've seen from the comics, I don't like his pictures in the comics. He looks
He got
silly.
no nose. He got tentacle heads.
Yeah, he looks
He's
silly.
a spooky boy. I think he looks cooler. I think he looks spooky.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
each
I
his
like
own.
him in the comics.
To each their own. I think he looks like a
This one he's a little
goofball.
less spooky.
I mean, you
Voldemort-y,
can see that,
yes.
like, yeah, exactly. They would make, maybe cinematically they would not want to do it because it would look a little too much like Voldemort or something.
Well, I'm sure Christian Bale's like, you're gonna get me in this. I don't want you to just make me a CGI face. I
Yeah,
want to actually be me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's part of it. But yeah, he's got the Necro sword, which is tight. The black sword in the comic books. It's got its origins in with Null and the symbiotes. So that's cool. I doubt it'll have that connective tissue in this, but it's cool. That's in there. I like too where it kind of the comedy of it. If I mean, you know, I'm already kind of like with Marvel comedy at this point, but it's Taika Waititi, and at least is a little bit charming. I guess
There's
a little.
yeah, I guess that's a good
little
way
funny.
of putting it. It's charming.
Yeah.
enough.
Like Thor being more attached to Jane than she is to him, kind of, you know, seemingly in their conversation where she's like, oh, you know, how long has it been? You know, like 3-4 years.
He's like
He's
8.
got like, yeah, like 7, 8 years, this many months, this many days, or whatever. He's like all of that, and like he talks about like, oh, you know, that was actually really impressive. Yeah, it's my first time.
Well, is that actually how many years we've gone without seeing Jane?
it has
Yeah.
been 8 years since
Since
the
before the
Dark
Dark
World when Thor and Jane were on screen together. Yeah,
So it's like a little play on like the fact that we haven't seen her as an audience for that long too.
yeah.
Yeah. It's been that long. Outside of I mean, you saw her in Endgame during the time heist, and he goes back to get Mjolnir.
But we never saw
From the
him
back.
or her and Thor together on screen. It was just
Exactly.
like weird shit.
He saw her creeping. But yeah, so it has been that long. I love that we're finally getting fucking Tooth Grinder and Tooth Gnasher or whatever, his fucking goats, his flying goats. Finally getting those boys. Scenes too. I just saw an article too that you can see like there's the scene towards the end where Zeus has like his clothes stripped off or whatever, Thor's clothes stripped off.
Yes.
Someone like zoomed in and you can see he's got like a tattoo that's like a tribute to Loki on his back.
Oh, interesting.
That's like Loki's horned crown that he has on there. You can't make it completely out, but yeah, there's that on there. I just Gore looks really creepy,
He does.
which I like. Like he does have that kind of. There's the weird stuff too, where they do the limited color palette stuff too.
Yeah, it
You know,
seems like
yeah, they
whenever
give it
he
straight
shows
up
up, he just
chroma.
like sucks this color out of the saturation.
Yeah, where it's like everything's like gray and like
It's cool.
black. Yeah, and then with flashes of color, which is cool. Let's check it out. The tail end of this trailer, quick. Yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see how they deal with it. I'm still just like having Zeus there and like the Greek pantheon and stuff
He's just
in
there's
that
this
world. I'm just like,
Zeus is there
where's
for
fucking
Gore to kill.
Hercules? But it's just like, where's Hercules? Because Hercules is a big character in Thor, right?
Yeah.
Like Hercules, the comic character's first appearance was in a Thor annual, I think.
Well, maybe
And they've constantly been like rivals / bros for like ever. And like yeah, it'd be interesting. Like you can't have him in there without at least like hinting at our boy, you know, hinting at that Herc.
I
Zeus,
feel
yeah.
like they'll probably hint at it. Like Thor will say something about like where's Hercules? I haven't seen him since.
How's
blah, blah,
Hercules
blah.
doing?
Yeah, and the Zeus will say like, oh, he's off doing this, or he's being punished and he's
Yeah.
here, or whatever. You know, like
Right.
maybe that.
He
It-
settled down and
I am hopeful that they like it. Since they're obviously going to Zeus and all this, I want to see him be like, "Hey, I'm a lightning god. You're a thunder god. She's also a new Thor. What does that mean? All three of us? Like, what? Maybe they can learn something from another pantheon of like lightning god or something. That'd be cool.
You know we're gonna see Rusty Crowe get fucking murked by Gore though.
Oh yeah, that's why he's there for
What
fodder.
happened?
He's gore fodder, dude.
But
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Natalie Portman's like hero arc, like kind of where she ends the movie and what inspires her to be a hero more than just like, oh, now I am Thor.
It sounds like there's like a leak from some sort of merchandise thing, but now I haven't read the story yet. I opened it, but that someone, I don't know if it was Taika or someone else, said that her story is like what the comic story is, and what that is that Jane has cancer, and like in the comics, Thor is in, I think, the comic book original Sid. Nick Fury tells him something in his ear, and it reminds him of something that happened, and he becomes unworthy to hold Mjolnir. And that's when Jane gets it, because she is worthy for one reason or another. But she has cancer, and when she becomes Thor, obviously she's, replenished and revitalized, right? She's healthy by all stretch of the imagination. But when she goes back, you eventually find out in the comics that her changing into Thor actually takes a lot out of her, and actually like worsens things for the most part. Yeah.
But that hasn't been addressed yet in the MCU.
Not yet, but
we also
like I said,
haven't
there
seen her
was
in
a
8
merchandise.
years.
There was a merchandise leak that said that she is dealing with a terrible disease or whatever. So,
Okay.
So she's probably going to follow that. And the way that ends up in the comic books is she does end up dying. But of course she's welcomed into Valhalla and everything, and she actually gets brought back as a Valkyrie.
Cool. But
yeah.
what would you
And
say,
that's
like
what she is currently in the comic books? She is Jane Foster Valkyrie.
Oh,
She has a
interesting.
costume slightly reminiscent of her Thor costume. But she's a Valkyrie instead.
I hope you guys are seeing this. Cool,
like
Skelly man.
This is Clive, right? I met him.
Yeah, he's Clive.
Hello, I'm
Clive.
Hello,
Hello, how you doing?
I'm Clive. Careful, drink.
So yeah, it sounds like that's what is going on. And like, there's another article again I saw today that I have opened on my phone, but I haven't read yet, that said that Jane is not like the new Thor. She's not replacing Hemsworth.
Right.
So it's kind of leading towards that thing where she'll probably, I can see like this, her being in it, then her dying or whatever, but then probably get brought back as Valkyrie or some shit, right?
Do you think this
especially since you see her palling around with Valkyrie in this too,
Yeah, right. Do you think this movie's gonna like give closure to Thor?
I do
don't know.
think so. I think it'll just like give him enough closure for him to move on to a new chapter, basically.
How do you guys think his arc? Do you like his arc as far as the
But
movie goes?
this will be our second MCU movie in a year where it's about our hero dealing with his troubled relationship with a woman, like,
I mean, that's fine.
or a relationship that didn't work out, because we had that with Strange, right? It was all a core driving part was the whole thing with him, and
It's gonna be an element of it for
what
sure.
the fuck.
But I mean, the movie is
And
called
then-
Love and Thunder.
Yeah. There was a thing too I'd read where it was just like, that there's love in it, but it's not necessarily Thor and Jane. Maybe somewhere, I don't know.
Well,
It'll be interesting. I don't know what it'll.
in
what it'll
the
do.
trailer, there's like those shots of Thor and Gore. That rhymes. Fighting in the like gray area, and then there's Thor and Natalie Portman Thor.
Yeah.
And it seems like maybe it will be a thing. Yeah, like I've got a reason to fight.
Yeah, and it shows them like holding pinkies, which is
So
adorable.
maybe not like a romantic love, but a love between them that is explored in the movie and deepens as more of like a camaraderie and respect and just like general like peer to peer rather than romantic relationship. Because I think Thor will move on to more of like an Odin type figure or more like ethereal, super cosmic type thing.
Yeah.
Like he'll be like, I'm tired of doing little things here and there with the Guardians. I don't really like want to rule a kingdom. Oh, I can't do anything else. He like levels up and basically is like, all right, I'm gonna go do some like big shit and take care of some like big stuff.
Well,
I got a prediction.
He kind of says that. He kind of says that in both trailers, I think, where he says about with the Guardians and stuff. But he's just like,
he's not fulfilled. He's not fulfilled as a god.
He shows
fighting
him walking
like,
away
aliens.
from a battlefield
Yeah.
with the Guardians.
Well, the Guardians are fighting these like aliens, where he's like, I'm a god. I shouldn't be like fighting aliens. I should be like fighting other gods. Like stuff my power level.
He's clearly like in the trailer. He's like, these are just hands for peace. Like he's clearly tired of fighting, and he wants to be able to.
He's very dejected from his situation.
Well, he wants to be able to find ways to create peace instead of just having to fight. He's like grown up.
Here's my prediction.
And then I think Gore gets him out of that. What I mean?
Here's my prediction that we all think that possibly Zeus is going to be murked by Gore.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen is that at some point the love part of Love and Thunder is the only way to conquer Gore is somehow love. Right, it's going to be facet of the fighting against this tyrannical person.
Gore wants nothing, basically. Like he wants no more gods. He doesn't want people to have things to believe in. He wants just like things to be shit. And
he comes from a planet where, if I remember correctly, like everything that they did was just like based on presumed signs from gods and stuff like that. They basically let their planet die, or like their species die off because of not doing anything, because they were expected to wait for the gods to come help them, and it never happened. And it sent him on a tirade, essentially, that led to him, just obliterating entire pantheons of gods.
Do you think they'll fall into that trope of like love conquers all?
Oh yeah,
in some facet.
But I'm sure it'll be
because I know.
I'm sure Taika will subvert it in some way, though.
Yeah, because I know that Taika like he's able to hit those very sincere emotional notes, but he's also not. He doesn't get too sappy with it or too like campy or cheesy. So he'll find some way to have it be like, yes, love, but it's more of like. These two characters have made an emotional connection, which allows them to deepen the strength of their powers.
Their powers get better.
Yeah,
but like full camp would be like
we'll get some sick ass
the literal power of love.
We'll get some sick ass father son Kamehameha type shit with fucking.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. But I'm thinking of like if he was gonna go full camp and full like Taika subvert or just doing something really bizarre. Taika would be like Thor and Gore just making out so passionately that Gore just like implodes.
Hey, having watched Our Flag Means Death, I that is one of the most like sincere and believable relationships I've ever seen.
Yeah, Blackbeard
like
and
on film.
Captain or what's his face?
Bonnet.
Yeah.
Steed.
Yep, Steve Bonnet.
Steve.
But I mean, you can see it because he did that fairly well with Ragnarok in balancing just the truly silly shit, but also like having some sort of actual, like dramatic storyline still involved, but not becoming too heavy and kind of breaking it up with some levity here and there, and just like, you know, he can do it, you know.
All right. Well, good discussion so far. I'm gonna pose. Well, actually, we'll come back to this in the next episode, but I'm gonna pick your guys' brain about something else that might be a little controversy, and maybe you know what I'm talking about, but we'll get to it in just.
I found an ancient tome.
We'll be back.